I'm JMO Jen, just my opinion Jen, and I wanted to live up to my promise and give you guys a video about edibles. We're just going to talk about edibles. Edibles are lovely. In my other video, I said edibles for everything. Edible, 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 edible. Okay. So there are really three delivery methods. There's inhalation, when you breathe something in and it goes into your lungs, you absorb it that way. There's orally, when you put something in your mouth, and there's two ways that works. That's orally. And there is topically, when you put it on your skin. All right. So you either put it in your lungs, or you put it in your mouth, or you put it on your skin. We're talking about putting it in your mouth. And when I was in my last video, I kept saying edibles instead of orally. Um, I was using the wrong word, and I wanted to clarify that to begin with. So, one of the ways to use cannabis is orally, one of the three ways that we typically use it. And that has two ways it works. One is by absorbing in your mouth, and also by chewing, swallowing, and going through the digestive process, which is a chemical process of changes, and acids are added and things are squished around, and anyway. So we're talking specifically about products that you can eat. And there's so many of them. Most people, you can't start this kind of conversation. First of all, you cannot even begin this conversation without saying the word brownies. I'm just going to get it over with. There, we did it. Okay, the most common when someone talks about eating marijuana or eating cannabis, first thing that comes to mind is pot brownies. And so it's something that's been happening. But I want to go a little deeper into I want to explain and help you understand that the cannabis plant, like spinach and kale and all these other green leafy plants, it has beautiful medicinal properties, right? And then some. Okay. Uh, Back before the suppression of cannabis, there was a very steady hemp industry, which is hemp cannabis. Eh, and what happened was the tops, all of the leaves and the tops that were used on the plants that were grown for the fiber, those leaves and tops were often fed to the cattle, which were fed to the people. And so that beef was richer in in cannabinoids naturally. Um, we have this really cool thing called the endocannabinoid system. And we're not taught about it, obviously. Most people are not taught about it in school. It's been researched since around the 1970s. And it's basically, just to simplify it, don't turn away because I said endocannabinoid system. The endocannabinoid system is actually really easy. Basically, it's sort of like the communication lubrication between all your other systems, right? So when your internal endocannabinoid system is functioning right, it makes life easier. Your body balances itself out. You don't have spikes and dips and drops and right? Just like cannabis itself. It's very evening out and balancing. And there are lots and lots of actual healing, healthy benefits of consuming it into your digestive system. So if you have Crohn's disease, ABS, ABD, my goodness, there's a whole bunch of them. If you've had any sort of digestive distress, if your belly's puffy, right? A lot of times people don't realize that's not fat necessarily. Yeah, you're going to have a layer of fat too, but all of that is not necessarily fat. Very often that's inflammation of your intestines, your digestive system just irritated, right? Cannabis has a lovely way of just making your digestive system say, "Oh, that feels good." It takes I have Crohn's disease myself, or I've been diagnosed with it. There's a million different, I kind of about big pharma because I've been diagnosed as allergic to wheat, IBS, IBD, Crohn's disease. celiac. um, they said all these different things. I can eat wheat. I can eat organic wheat products without a problem. But everything processed that we consume has factory farmed, mass produced wheat. And that's the danger. We can start playing with science in ways that aren't with nature, right? We go against it and sort of try to manipulate it. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about edibles. That's the good stuff. So, edibles affect you in two different ways. Now, and there's all different kinds. There are baked goods. We'll start with brownies. So there's like cookies and all kinds of bars and there are all kinds of products depending on where you are. In Florida, I have seen cookies and brownies at some of the bigger dispensaries, the chain, the more well-known dispensaries. And then check with your individual ones that are close to you. Google dispensary near me, go look at their website and see what they have to offer in the edibles category. Most start with gummies because it's something fairly easy to produce. In Florida, though, you're not going to find legal medicinal edibles that look like candy. They're not going to look like the marketed bright colors. They don't use they don't use artificial colors. They don't use artificial flavors. There are rules. They cannot be in like fun fruit or animal shapes. They have to be squared, like they have to be geometrical, like medicine with a THC, either a THC warning emblem. It's right here. Hold on the bag I just put in there. So it has to have a THC warning emblem on the actual piece of candy or molded into the chocolate, stuff like that. So what happened to the lighting? It just got really weird. There we go. It's coming back better. All right. So I've seen cookies in Florida. If you're wondering what's available in Florida, I've seen like chocolate chip cookies and I've seen brownies. And then I have to be careful of like the actual wheat ingredients and stuff like that. And so I haven't explored as much, but I do know that as far as baked goods are concerned, they also have, like I said, gummies are very popular. And also a thing about the gummies is that they sometimes will call them gels. And often that has to do with whether they have gelatin or whether they're vegan, which are made with like a pectin or agar, something else that's not animal derived. Gelatin is animal derived, but that's what keeps the gummies gooey and sticky. So there are all different kinds of products, and these are not infused because I don't have access to them. I don't have anything at home right now that is, but little containers. It's going to come in Florida. You're going to get it in a white package with it's going to have like a locking zipper. You have to push the little top just right. And listen, if you're having trouble with those bags, look at the actual zipper part and see which way the hook goes. I was pushing it the wrong direction. So I was like the hook was going this way and I was pushing it long ways along the zipper and it wasn't opening. So I just stop and see that the hook, it's kind of got to get in there and then anyway. So, and you know what? If you're at home and you've already purchased it and you can't open it, get a pair of scissors, just cut it. It's okay. You can secure it in another way. If you need to keep your meds locked because you're not, at home alone, you can put them in a little box with a little padlock or something. They make zipper bags that have little locks on them. But I'm just saying, so edibles, they have hard candies. When I was in Colorado, where it's legal recreationally, I got to try lollipops. I tried hard candies. I tried gummies. I got some gummy worms, like all kinds of fun things like that. They're also putting them in beverages and drinks and oh my goodness, I need my list. I had a list prepared. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna wing it. All kinds of products. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, well, in the beverages, not only are they making like canned beverages that have a certain amount of THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids, when I say cannabinoid, think cannabis oil, because that's all it is. Don't get anxious about the terminology. It's just like in computer science when they say ISP instead of internet service provider. Don't be mystified by it. I'll try to explain. If you have questions, you're welcome to send them to me on Instagram, JMO Jen Canna Consult on Instagram. Anyway, they're also adding, I've seen the little liquid drops, right? So like the Mio where you add it to the water, and they have nano drops and sprays. I believe they're coming out with powders. There's all kinds of drinkable products. Um, they have, we talked about baked goods, mints, lollipops, lozenges, gummies, all of those with the candies. Um, they're even in not in Florida yet. I haven't seen any in Florida yet. I'd love to be part of the development of some of these products, but they have savory snacks like chips, jerky, crackers, things like that. Jerky would be great because you could actually add the dosage after the processing and keep it. Yeah, that would be interesting. It's see, and that's the thing with edibles is it's hard to specifically measure the direct effect that the cannabis is going to have on you because of different reasons. First of all, if you've had anything to eat or drink with it, it's going to kind of soften the effect because it's not going to be as concentrated in your food. It's kind of like drinking when you haven't had anything to eat. That first drink's going to hit you pretty hard. Like it's going to hit you a lot harder than if you've had something to eat first and then you drink. An after dinner drink is softer and more relaxing. It's not like bam, all of a sudden you feel the alcohol. So what you eat has a lot to do with it. How long you chew it has a lot to do with it because in the process and in the edible process, it's part of the oral modality or method of use, right? And so while you're chewing it, you're getting the sublingual or the under the tongue effect. And that's why a lot of times if you read blogs, you read posts about how long does it take for edibles to work, they'll say 30 minutes to 90 minutes. Okay. Now, hold on, this is misleading. You start feeling some effects, right? So you want to plan to be ready to experience the effects within 30 minutes, right? Because it can come on strong. If it was really delicious and you chewed on it, or it was something that was really sticky and chewy and it was in your mouth for a long time, more of it absorbed through your mouth than what you swallowed is what's going to start hitting you in about an hour and a half, that 90 minutes. It can take longer though. It can take a full 2 hours to feel all the effects of it. And it can come on so nice and gentle and get bigger slowly that before you know, you don't even realize that you feel 100 times better than you felt when you ate it because of that time gap that goes by. So they have gummies, gummy bears, chews. Nano drops is a different technology too. So if you're experienced with cannabis, listen, be economical. I'm just saying, start with a low dose, like 2.5 to 5 milligrams. I'm not kidding you. That sounds like nothing. Oh, I've been smoking my whole life. I've been using cannabis for so many years. But listen, when you actually swallow the THC and then your body starts to do chemical things to it, it changes it a little bit and it affects us differently. So, no, it's not going to be like dabbing or smoking or vaping, where if you're using an 80% THC inhalant, it's going to hit you hard and fast. You're going to get high quick. Edibles don't work the same way. That happens. Yes, it can send you reeling, but it takes like 2 hours for it to fully come on. So if you get impatient and you're like half an hour into it and that happens, come on. How many people have you ever heard the conversation? I've heard it 100 times if I've heard it once, and I'm being conservative in that estimate. I talk to a lot of people about cannabis. So Um, but they say, "Oh, my sister-in-law, I took some brownies to a party and my sister-in-law ate one and waited a little while and didn't feel anything and ate like 3 more, and before you know it, she was drooling on herself, just kinda zoned out, staring at the blinking Christmas lights in the corner," right? So, I mean, if you are looking for that effect, go for it. You do you, okay? I'll do me, you do you. I'm not trying to change anybody. I'm saying start small and experiment and build up to what you want. Because if you start and every product can be different. You might grab some drink drops that call themselves nano drops, right? And you put them in your drink and it's okay. You feel better. You feel good. Maybe it took your back pain away, a little bit of the anxiety lessened, right? But then you try the nano drops that you spray in your mouth. And because it hits your skin in your mouth and it tastes good, you're going to taste it for a few more seconds and hold on to it for a few more seconds in your mouth. All of a sudden, you're reeling and unexpectedly extra medicated, which always when you're trying a new product, start slow. Make sure you're in a situation where you can, you know, have support if you need it, or if you have someone in your life who supports your cannabis use but they don't do it themselves, let them know. No one's ever died, and to remind you, if you start panicking, you get terpenes that create paranoia or something. Take a nice hot shower, eat something, drink a lot of water, try to take a nap or go for a walk. If you can take a nap, lay down, relax, and zone off and take a nap. That's the best. After a nice warm shower, what the shower does is it increases your circulation. But if you think you're panicking, if you think you've eaten too much, remind yourself, train yourself right now. If you ever get in that situation, train your brain. No one's ever died from eating, you have to, because the paranoia can make your head do crazy things. It's true. Anyway, um, we didn't talk about the more gourmet candies, and I'm going to put chocolate and chocolate bars because there's some really delectable products out there. Even in the medical dispensaries in Florida, there are some companies, and I don't have their packaging with me. And so I'm not going to mention any names right now. But if anybody in the industry in Florida wants me to review or try their products, I would be more than happy to do so. I have allotments available, and I like to help. So, um, uh, the chocolate bars, the caramels, the caramel candies, the Goody special interesting things, and I'm sure there are tons of them, tons of different things I haven't mentioned. Those are sort of just some general ideas. Then you get into actually cooking with cannabis. And cooking with cannabis is a whole big it can be very complicated, but there are some really simple things to keep in mind to help you be successful. One is that if you just take cannabis plant flower material and you just eat it uncured, I mean processed. This is just ground flour. It's been put through the grinder. It's that bisabolo. That terpene is nice in this one. Anyway, we'll get into strain reviews later. Wow. Did you see that? My thought just went. Okay, edibles. Green flour. Where was I going? I need to rewind and watch what I was just saying. Let's take a breath. Yeah, I don't see any. I was looking to see if I have any chats. Anybody in the chat room? Okay. So we were talking about how to make edibles, how to cook with cannabis. I'm going to tell you, first of all, don't be afraid. The easiest way, if you have tincture available to you, if you have access to THC tincture, you're set. Here's the trick. when you're using edibles as like a meal or a dessert or something like that, you want to think about it in the fact that you don't want the big bulky part of the food to be infused necessarily. I mean, yes, if you have can of butter, you want to toss it in the pasta, that's fine. But you do need to be careful of dosing and proportions and stuff like that. Um, all you have to do is make your food and put a few drops of tincture on it. Honestly, you can put tincture in cocked in a fake drink. You can put a couple of drops of tincture in the top of your coffee or tea in the morning. It's just going to float on top. And when you sip it, you're going to sip it into your mouth with your coffee. Your coffee is going to be infused. Now, infusion means it's all spread out inside. And I understand that. And you can do that. But when you do that, I recommend that it's in something special, like the sauce. So, in other words, if you're making, we'll take something simple, spaghetti, and you want to make an infused spaghetti and red sauce, right? Don't coat the pasta, the wet pasta that's going to be touching the plate and leaving bits of cannabis oil all over the place on the plate, right? Put it in the sauce on the pasta because you're more likely to eat more of the sauce, get more of the sauce, use the sauce to coat the pasta. And that's what I'm saying. In other words, if you're going to make a pastry, don't put it in the baked part necessarily. Put it in that special cream, the topping that you're going to put it in. Or that way, you know that part, the special part, is going to be enjoyed and it's not going to be wasted by staying on the sides of your containers and your plates and being missed. Someone, like I'm sure people enjoy the entire treat. The other thing about edibles is make it smaller. And if you're making edibles at home, here's a great hack, okay? And I'll tell you some more about making them at home. But one of the great things about making edibles at home to keep in mind before you start, prepare that you're going to have some that are infused and some that are not. Okay, this will save you when you're already medicated. You have your medicated edible, right? So you make fudge. Easiest way, my favorite and easiest edible recipe is super simple. You get a bag of chocolate chips, the famous brand, right, with the yellow package. Just get a bag of those and get a can of sweetened condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk, right? I like using organic products, so I find the same in organics. Toll House chocolate chip cookies don't seem to bother me too much, I think. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, take some chocolate chips and the semi-sweet. I'm sorry, peanut butter lovers and it's all of you white chocolate fans and all the other flavors, butterscotch, those don't work the same way. For some reason, the components of the actual chocolate don't work the same way. You need the semi-sweet chocolate chips in the bag. It's still like the 8 ounce. I don't know, the smallest bag, right? Grab just a can of the sweetened condensed cream, sweetened condensed milk at home in a micro and get some RSO, Rick Simpson oil, or you can use distillate. Rick Simpson oil is going to have all the phytonutrients and all of the healing properties of cannabis, a lot more of that in it. A distillate, like a viscous distillate, is going to have, it's going to be cleaner and sometimes those are remixed. They're, in other words, they take the cannabis and all the terpenes out and then they put it all back together based on that strain. So it might not be specifically strain derived, but a, Mandarin Sunset remix, right? In other words, they put the terpenes back into the cannabis oil in a combination that mimics the aromas and it has the terpenes in it. So they recreate it basically. So that's good to ask if you're interested in that. Anyway, most of that kind of product that I've seen in Florida, at least, is going to come in something looking like this. This is called a syringe, but most people think needle. Mine's a little sticky at the moment, but it's typically a lot fuller. I'm running low, but it's going to come in something like this or it'll have a little twist. The tip might be different, but it's basically a plunger type syringe. These come usually in a gram size. You can get distillates in a half gram size. And I think in Florida, if you get a discount, you're watching the deals, you can get a half gram for like around maybe $30, give or take $5 on the sales. They have good discounts. And then and a gram of it is usually, and it's usually full price. Half gram is like maybe $50 at the most, and a full gram is maybe $100 at the most. But discounts and all that. A full gram, yeah. Anyway, a full gram it lasts forever. Not forever, but it lasts a long time. I use the Rick Simpson oil. My favorite delivery method is just to simply literally take a gummy bear, right, from a regular pack of gummy bears. I love these, by the way. Shout out to Black Forest. Thank you for making delicious gummy bears that I can eat. You can smell the fruit. It's like real fruit, I swear. And these are gelatin. So if you are vegan, this would not be a product for you, but I'm sure you have your favorite vegan gel or gummy. And all I do literally is I bite this in half, or I can cut it with a knife if I'm being, kind of long ways. So it's like two flaps, right? I just kind of split it. And I just put my dose right inside the gummy bear right in there. And I can clean off my resin filled. So then there's just a little dose inside between the two pieces, right? Super simple, super simple. And then look, it's an edible. And if you don't like the taste, if you taste it, grab a couple more gummy bears and chew them up. I enjoy the taste of cannabis. That's honestly the easiest way. And if you have any digestive disorders, any problems with your digestive system, let me just tell you really quickly, Rick Simpson oil was made by a beautiful man who only ever wanted to he's only helped people. He's not one of those commercial make money. And so go and Google his information. I'm going to find it and do some fundraising work for him. He's actually in his later years, and he never took a lot of money and he's saved so many lives. Honestly, he has. Rick Simpson oil is named for him, obviously, but you can also find it being called full spectrum cannabis oil, full extraction. So I think it's like FECO oil, or FECO, full extraction cannabis oil. But what it is the process is they use an alcohol, like a grain alcohol, for example. And this is honestly, it's not hard to do. I'm just telling you. They take like a grain alcohol, really high proof. You can safely add this to medicines and drinks, but you can also get alcohol poisoning because it's so strong. I keep it for cleaning my glass, to be honest, because it's food grade and it cleans it really easily. It breaks everything down. Anyway, but they take the alcohol and they take the plant material, and literally I could do it in this. Take the ground plant material up, right? And they put a little bit of alcohol on it, enough to make like a tea with it, so that the alcohol is going to turn all green and it's going to get all the goodness. And the longer you leave it, the more of those phytonutrients and cannabinoids that pull into the alcohol. But then they press out all the plant material and strain it and just take that liquid. And then you can simply, literally put it in like a little shot glass inside of a mason jar with the lid on. And the alcohol will evaporate out of the shot glass and collect in the bottom around it'll evaporate out of the shot glass and out of the cannabis oils, and it will drip down the sides and collect in the bottom of the jar. And so you'll end up with basically Rick Simpson oil, it's super easy to do, but it's also messy. And you don't have the testing you're not testing your final product to see what the strengths are. So if you do have access to well tested, well regulated products, and I'm confident with Grow Healthy in Florida. I'm confident that they do, and that either ethically as a company they follow all the guidelines. I don't, but or um, the guidelines are that watched in Florida. Which so anyway, back to edibles. Super easy way. You take that fudge, you take the chocolate chips, you take the sweetened condensed milk, and you take your RSO, a syringe. Don't do the whole thing. That's a lot. Okay. Take a little bit at a time. Make a batch. Make maybe whatever your milligrams are. Um, it'll tell you how many milligrams in the whole thing. So if you see the little notches and you use half of it, then you just divide the full amount in half, right? You're going to need that number at the end, not until the end though. So you put the amount of RSO, you melt your chocolate chips in the microwave. You start on 30 seconds. It's simple. Not even 20 seconds, 30, 20 seconds or so. Give it a stir, give it time to melt. Don't get anxious. A little bit at a time. Then after that, 20 seconds the first time, then 10 seconds, stir, and it'll melt pretty quick. It doesn't take long. Don't burn your chocolate if you overcook it. It's better to set the bowl out and let the heat all distribute through and make sure that it's not melted right than to overcook it and have to start all over. So take your time, stir that in. Once your chocolate is nice and melted and when you stir it, it's all smooth and shiny and all that. That's when you can add your RSO. Squeeze the whole thing in, and then again, you don't want any streaks, you don't want anything. And the reason I'm adding the RSO now is because we want to have a lot of time for that stuff to mix in. And I did forget to say, when you're melting your chocolate, have your RSO with the lid on, like with the little stopper on it, sitting in some warm water so that it does melt. And it can be a little hotter, like not hot water, boiling, because then it'll pop the end off and you'll lose half of your RSO in the water. But it can be on the warmer side of warm so that it comes out easy and it's already nice and flowy. But your chocolate's going to be warm from melting, and that's going to help mix it all together. And then what we're going to do is you're going to add your sweetened condensed milk in there and keep stirring and stirring, smooth and smooth and smooth. And it's not going to be out of the refrigerator, right? So it's not going to be cold. It's going to be room temperature. And hopefully it all mixes together nice and smooth. And then all you have to do, you can even line up a box with some plastic wrap, right? So that everything, like one piece of plastic wrap fits in and covers up over the sides. A smaller box or something, put some plastic wrap in that if you want squared corners, or in a pot or pan, or in molds. You can use ice cube trays and make individual little pieces. Put like a tablespoon in each ice cube tray, whatever. I prefer to make it in a box, because then the edges are squared, and when you cut the pieces, they can be all pretty even, right? Anyway, you just let that set. If you want to set it in the fridge, it'll set a little harder and a little faster. Also, tip before you start this project, think about how chocolatey you like it. Do you like dark chocolate? Do you like really creamy milk chocolate? Because that's going to depend on how much sweetened condensed milk you put in it, right? And that's up to you. 1 can of sweetened condensed milk to 1 bag of chocolate chips is the official recipe for easy homemade fudge with 2 ingredients. And it works, but you can lessen the amount of the more sweetened condensed milk you put in it, the softer of a fudge. And these are not brownies. This is fudge. It's going to be soft. It's kind of crumbly and melty in your mouth and so good. Then once it's set, you cut it into pieces, count how many pieces you have. Take that number I told you to remember, get your calculator, put that number in, and divide it by the number of pieces, right? And then you have how many milligrams of THC is in each piece. and you can break those in half, take a little piece of it. But here's the secret, okay? Make some that's not infused because it's going to taste good and you're going to be enjoying cannabis, which can give you the munchies. Instead of eating all of your infused fudge in one sitting, why not have a couple of pieces to have the piece, the dosage, whatever amount that is right for you, starting slow. Start with 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams tops with edibles. Because it might, if you're eating that on an empty stomach, you might be rolling, like reeling, you know? Anyway, take your time, enjoy. Did I even talk about all the different? Keep going on this. Let's see. So the tinctures. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. If you like brownies and you want some infused brownies, make a pan of brownies and then cut your brownies and take your tincture and drop a couple of drops of your tincture on the brownie you're going to eat. See what I'm saying is you're not leaving crumbs and stuff in the pan. You're actually getting the meds into your system and you know you're going to get that bite with the tincture on it, right? um like I said, yeah, I wanted to talk about dosing. A lot of med edibles are pretty good at 10 to 15 milligrams. I mean, I've been using cannabis for 30 years, 30 years at least, and I'm good with 10, maybe 15 milligrams at the most. Like that's, and I have to be careful, you know, if you eat something that has an indica strain in the daytime, you might be taking naps on the couch all day, even if you didn't want to. Anyway, we talked about that. Let me just see. So we talked about how long does it, I have some questions popping up here. How long does it take it to kick in? So most of them have to be kind of broken down by your digestive, most of it. If you're eating something that's infused, most of it has to be broken down by your digestive system. That can take an hour to 2 hours. So be patient. If you don't think edibles work, set an alarm on your phone. Um, Set an alarm for 2 hours from when if you take it at 4, set the alarm for 6. When that alarm goes off, stop, be still, really feel how you feel. Compare it to how you felt when you set that alarm. When you set the alarm, pay attention to how you feel. Compare it. It's hard to can't last an hour. Hello. Oh, hey Tom. Greetings. How you doing, my friend? I've been so crazy busy and looking for work and um I'm trying to find some kind of income creating producing situation. I haven't actually punched a time clock in a long time. So I'm like, where do I go? What do I do? Video interview. What? Okay. Can't be. I mean, it must be like streaming, only there's someone on the other side. Oh my gosh, I didn't tell you. In my video interview, I understand you're supposed to be professional. If it's a cannabis interview, I can leave that up. But if it's not, this replaces it. It's just a saying, nothing about cannabis. So, like it's kind of benign. Anyway, I understand all of that, but I went into this interview for a non-cannabis related job. I actually got the job, so I guess it wasn't that big a deal. But behind me on as a fake background, you know how like Zoom, some apps do that? I think they set it up as a trick. It's like pick a random photo from the participant's background from their screen, right? It could have been anything. I'm glad it was anything more political, but it was that the speaker, the chick, what's her name? Not Pelosi. The speaker chick. Oh my gosh. Here, let's see. I can't get it. Oh, I'm luckily very damaged disability. Trick. Uh they it was a I think it was a trick because like a company would want to know more about you. Like, I don't know if you can set up Zoom like that or not, but it would have been funny if the company, if that's their whole thing. It was a recorded interview. I knew it was going to be recorded and put in my employee file and all this stuff. So behind me in the background, instead of my normal background, it was a fake background from a screenshot of something I took off of Instagram or whatever. And it was the speaker lady and a picture of Peppermint Patty. What's her name? Jen something. I can't even remember now. My brain's not working. I need to medicate. But it was two pictures said you can't unsee this, and it was her in a green dress, and then right next to Peppermint Patty, and they looked just alike. I was like, oh, it could have been so much worse. If they weren't the same political leaning as me, I mean. Anyway, uh yeah, we were talking about let's see. My notes here. It was breaking down by the digestive system. Yeah, and yeah, the edibles. Do you like edibles? I like the duration of edibles. In a lot of places, a lot of times you'll see it says, 4 hours or whatever. But it says that lasts between an hour to 4 hours. But I'm like, that's inaccurate. The pharmacology of this and the way it changes when we eat the THC actually increases the duration, and it can last 6 to 8 hours. Yeah, yeah, edibles are the bomb. What's your favorite? Like, what's the best edibles you ever had? Were they homemade or from a dispensary? Was it candies, cookies? Very rare treat. If you can get RSO, you can make RSO fudge really easy. It's just you melt chocolate chips in a bowl. Only the semi-sweet chocolate chips work like this. Semi-sweet chocolate chips in the bowl, sweetened condensed milk with it, and then your RSO. Oh, that's right. No, you watch your sugar, don't you? Mhm. I bet you could make gummies with. You could pretty easily make gummies with sugar-free Jello. 2 Christmases ago from friends. Sweet. I make everything into an edible. Tincture's the best way. You could do that. Tincture. Fun times. Speaking of which, let's medicate. I did do a demo, I made a little RSO gummy bear a minute ago, but I have not enjoyed. This one's called green. Oh, this is the blue cheese. I put it in the Good Dog container because it came in a Ziploc like pouch. It was weird. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. It seemed too strange. Oh, I wanted to talk about another product in the dispensary really quick because I had really good effects, but it's not something I try while I'm on live streaming. But these Certera Wellness, the Certera dispensaries make this line of wellness products. This one's called Dream, and these are called Farah Gels. This is it's a little bit of CBD and 9 parts THC with terpenes that help sleep. And so I literally took one gel cap and slept like a baby through the night. I mean, I did smoke a little before bed, but that doesn't usually last me all night long. I intentionally did not eat my nighttime RSO that time. And these are nice. I think you could get 2 of them are like, I don't know, $6 or something, but I had one but you buy them in a bigger package and then they're less expensive per pill. But I just bought a 2-pack. And yeah, even that, it says, because what capsules are something you ingest, you swallow, it says 2 hours. 2 hours before it starts working. Then after 2 hours, it can last 6 to 8 hours. So if I'm working, if I have to go to work and I need to focus and concentrate and be able to do what I'm going to do, take a little strawberry haze RSO, make myself a little gummy bear edible, hour and a half before I get to work, 2 hours before I get to work, even. And then If I'm working a long day, I can remedicate at lunchtime, not have a heavy euphoric effect like nighttime indica feeling, but it gives me energy and it helps my pain and it helps my body work and it helps me get things done and be an asset, right? Instead of that, right? There should be a reflection effect, so that was correct. Yeah, right? Mm, 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 mm. What were the other questions? So it's asked about how long does edibles stay in your system? Listen, this greatly depends on your own body's metabolism. You can metabolize them out in 6 to 8 hours, not be over all the effects and stuff, but it can last up to 12 hours. It can have very long lasting, lingering, more gentle effect, though, unless there was a terpene or you had a really high dose of THC. And THC is also and what happens is once you metabolize the THC effects away, those leftover metabolites, all the leftover stuff from the metabolism process is still in your body. They're not making you high anymore, or making you, the pain might be starting to come back, whatever, but those metabolites stay in your body for, gosh, it can be longer than a month. It can be, most people say 30 days. If you stop smoking right now, in 30 days there will be no more metabolites in your bloodstream. And that's the interesting and kind of definitely messed up thing about you're too miserable, I don't afford edibles. Hey man, those nano drops or the inhalers, if you watch the sales and use your discounts. Are you asking about all your discounts? Yeah. That, I'm telling you, if you could get your hands on some distillate or some RSO, and I've found a gram of RSO, if I'm watching the sales, discounts and stuff, a gram of RSO for like $33. That's like a half ounce of weed. Like that's how much medicine is in it for me. And so it lasts me a lot longer. And so it's very economical, even if I can't afford flower to smoke, which right now I'm like literally scraping. Like I have some strains that I haven't finished because I still have reviews to do, and it's hard to get time to put together a video without my back neighbors revving uh their ATVs or something happening, the dog's going crazy or someone coming home or so it's hard to get those times to get all those strain reviews done. They're on the way. But yeah, no sales for this guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I could bring you here and take you to my doctor. Yeah. I was against it for the first 4 years. Like, yeah. It's like, nope, I'm not gonna because the government doesn't need my information, blah blah blah. You know what? What I mean, I'm naive to think that the government couldn't get my information if they wanted it, first of all. And second, kind of egotistical to think but they want it anyways. Who am I, right? Mm, mm, mm. It's funny, these little gummies, I usually buy the big, like 5 pound or 7 pound bag of them from Sam's Club. That's how much I love them and how often I eat them. And my partner brought me home a Sam's Club box of the little packets. And I found out that I love these even more because every time you open one of these little packets, first of all, it's portion control and I don't get crazy with it. I don't trust me driving and I don't pay for doctors. I understand. My doctor cost me, the first time was $125, but that included my state fee of $75. They paid that. Like that was part of what they told me to bring. And I walked out of the office, my first visit, waiting for my approval email from the state. It was all done. I knew how to check they showed me how to check it and save it to my home screen so I could find out what was going on with it. And they send me notifications when it's time to renew they don't send me notifications when it's time to renew my card. You have to pay attention to that. It's like your driver's license, but they'll send you a notification when it's time to renew your prescriptions. And so once every 7 months, you have to go either sit face to face with the doctor or do a telemed. My video displays backwards and I don't read text backward. Oh. Huh. Let me see if I can mirror it. Let me look at my settings. Graphics, non-video, video. Try this. How's that? Is that better? Or was it I didn't know if you were talking about the harmony. That says, life is not a race, but a journey to be savored each step of the way. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. I didn't know if that was what you were talking about. Hold up a package. I think it was on Mirror, my video or whatever, this restream. Wait, I'm pointing to the wrong side now because I got used to it the other way. This restream logo is because I haven't paid for the pro version yet. But I'm working on building my cool. I'm working on building my Canna Consult with JMO Jen on YouTube. So yeah, you're with me on Twitch today, but I'm also live streaming to YouTube at the same time right now. So Tom shouts out to all the YouTube viewers later or now if anybody's watching. I don't really have anywhere on my page that tells me how. Oh yeah, I do. So I have one person watching. Thanks, Tom. I hope this helps other people in the future. Talking about edibles. There's a question. I don't like the taste. Well, it's not really a question, but do edibles taste like cannabis? And you know what? I've had edibles that I could taste the cannabis in. And if I do it with this and RSO, you make it yourself. Yeah, I taste the cannabis in mine when I do that. I like the taste of cannabis. If you put it on a gummy bear and it tastes too strong, put 3 or 4 gummy bears in your mouth and chew them all up at the same time. It sort of spreads the stronger taste out across more gummy. So, and I've had edibles from the dispensaries that do not taste like cannabis at all, not a bit. Even the sprays and stuff. I've tried that. It's was that cannabis? Because it didn't even taste like it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And different things too. I wanted to talk about different things and tastes, the way they blend with cannabis. So in other words, if you've ever had chocolate infused cannabis, infused chocolate that was been, cannabis infused chocolate. Sorry. I got excited. My words just what? If you've had a chocolate bar that's infused with cannabis or, caramel, chocolate covered caramels or those kind of things, chocolates and caramels, those creamy oil based sort of flavors and tastes blend really well with cannabis and soften it out and kind of temper it. So in other words, if you don't like the taste of cannabis, you still might like the taste of chocolate and cannabis because of the way the chocolate taste kind of tempers the cannabis taste. And then it's just if you smell the cannabis. You just kind of get a little hint of cannabis in chocolate, and it blends better. Um, and again, I'm trying to think what else would affect the taste is also the potency, is how much you use. So a stronger edible with more THC percentage has more of a chance of tasting more like cannabis. So keep that in mind for sure. Let's see. I think that's about it just for the overall basics. Um, if you want to cook with cannabis, using cannabis butter and even making cannabis butter is again not that difficult. I don't want to get into all the technical details right now, but it's really as simple as using a double boiler, putting some butter and cannabis in, certain temperatures and certain amounts of time, and basically dissolving the cannabinoids into that butter. It's kind of like you're making a tea, but you're not using water, you're using butter, if that makes sense. You can use coconut oil, you can use olive oil as a stronger taste, but you can definitely the thing is if you need either an alcohol or an oil to extract the goodness from the cannabis plant. So if you don't have that, then it's not going to work. And you also need a heat process, a gentle, like 200 degrees in that area, um, gentle heat uh, for enough time that it changes from tetrahydrocannabinol acid to actual THC, just THC. I was gifted an edible cube from True Leaves Saturday. It was nice. A gummy cube. Nice. That's sweet. I think I've noticed in Florida, if anyone's curious, I think that the legal medicinal edibles in Florida, I believe there are rules about dosage and being capped at like 200 milligrams, maybe it's like 250 and they use that as a buffer. But I notice a lot of the edible products are either in 10 milligram increments, sometimes 5. So like the chocolate bars might have 10 milligram squares, but it has a light score in the middle that you could break it into 2 5 milligram pieces, or so you can always break them up and stuff. But the gummies, um, those are interesting because they're just like square. Like we're used to gummies that are like fruit shaped or animal shaped, and they can't do that. They're not allowed. That's against the rules in Florida for the medical. And honestly, now I would encourage anybody to, if they can at all possibly afford medicinal, to get legal to begin with. It's actually, I found ways within the system perfectly legal, and I'm saving money. And that's by getting stuff like 24% THC and 2.9 or 2.79, sorry, almost 2.8% terpenes, which is really, that's phenomenal. Most are like 1.5 or 1.7. See, like, so lots of terpenes. So it smells really good. It's got high potency. It's got great terpenes in it. It has anti-inflammatory, and I have so much, and I get it for $25 for 7 grams. You can't get discounts on it. You just have to go in and ask. Well, it gets the kind of thing you have to know. I understand. That sucks, man. And that's what, maybe that's the project that we need to work on is a there's help out there for all kinds of other people. People that right now there aren't, you can't, I don't know of any way to bypass having to pay the state even. I mean, what if I'm on food stamps? Do I still have to pay the state for my medicine? Like, it doesn't, I get it. I get it. Like, I get what they're doing, like why fees are necessary to run the whole thing. But Mm. Isn't there shouldn't there be a, um how do I say it? Social services organization, right? That helps people that are having a hard time affording their licensing, like the registration and doctor's appointments. I know there are doctors that work on a sliding scale, though. So that's something to check out. And with you, it was really frustrating for me when I wasn't gonna get legal, because everywhere I turned to look, I got a brick wall. Like, nope, we're gonna send you to these other doctors and do all this other stuff. And it's just like, whoa, that's too much. I can't afford that. I can't do it. And I'm poor. I mean, I'm like, I don't get donations from doing this. I haven't found the right audience to stimulate lots of donations, right? I love helping people. So yeah. Like I'm not one of those. I can't be like that. Donate now. Like, I don't even think I have a caption for it, to be honest, on this one. Nope, I have a caption for Silicon Valley OG that I was reviewing at the time. But oh man. Um things changed for me. It went from mm, I'm going to get into too many details on live, right? But sleeping in my car is not something that I haven't done. I'm blessed to be able to keep my car. It's like a 2001 Honda that hopefully I'll get another 100,000 miles out of, right? I'm on a good disability payment, but the few people I've met pay out of pocket a lot everywhere. That's 7 months to doctors. Oh, yeah. Well, see, and that too, I mean, at least in Port St. Lucie, where I'm at, and I'm sure because it's a franchise business that uses local doctors, Miracle Leaf, I wonder if there's one in Newport Richey in that area. Let me see. Just going to look really quick and just check and see if Mircle Newport Richey, Florida. That's not what I wanted. I wanted I think so. Is that Newport Richey? Yeah. Oh, it's in Tampa. There's one in Tampa, and I can look around and see what's over there in Newport Richey too. What offices, and now, like, I understand, I know what to ask, and I know what to. I think it when when you're outside, like when before you get legal, it's like, and even afterwards, most people, you be people have no clue. Unfortunately, it's true. I've seen people, especially older Americans, older patients, that go into even a smoke shop to get a piece of glass to smoke with or something to use their medical cannabis. They walk in confused, they walk out confused. They're like, ugh. And I'm like, whoa, make it simple. Get a little cigarette sized piece of glass that has a bowl in one end, no holes, no weird, simple. That's it, right? And hold on to it. That's osmosis. All those little particles, all those little microscopic particles of oil are bouncing around in there really fast in that fog, in that smoke cloud. That's why it looks white, because they're little, yeah. You absorb it in. Anyway, your sound quality have been so perfect. Thank you so much. I'm happy. How long, if you don't mind, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but how long Did it take you a long time to get your disability started? Man, I don't know how much more unable to be a reliable employee she could be right now. Her mind doesn't work right. She's got neuropathy. Like the temperature can shift and she's in pain. Pins and needles in her feet all the time, which make her cranky because it's just that constant, she's not her mind, and she gets forgetful or she'll use the wrong word saying things sometimes, and hopefully it'll get better. But I don't know. She's been struggling with her disability, which is why I was asking about that. Like how long it took from like, the time you started trying to get it to like when you actually got it. Like how long was your struggle? Because it's been 6 months so far, and I think there's another year at least to go. I've heard people say 3 years. So it's like they just keep making you fight. And finally, when everyone else falls off and stops fighting, if you're still fighting, you get it. I don't know. That's what it feels like. Ugh, like, what do you need? How many more neurologists does she need to go and talk to for evidence? And how many more? I mean, she tried. It's not like she didn't try to go back to work. Yeah. Crazy disability insurance. So it was their best interest. Perfect. That's good. She had a really good disability insurance too. I'm not sure, like, but she's having a hard time. She's just the first time they're accepting her as disabled, and part of the problem is like she's half blind, like legally blind in one eye. She could have been disabled a long time ago because of her vision alone, and so adding all of that. Oh, good, good. Well, you went, going through a company like that was their best interest. Yeah. Well, see, and she went through her disability ins- insurance through the aerospace industry, which was, I mean, we always had PPO insurance, so it was a better, tier of insurance service that we got through her job, her career in the aerospace. She was at Paul in Port St. Lucie, and then Triumph here on the Treasure Coast in Martin County, Stewart. Anyway, um, the company that the disability insurance company uses to do the social security processing, the social security person actually bypassed their I mean, they like ended up contacting Sandy saying, hey, you need your attorney to call us and get back in touch with us. We've gone without communication for like 3 weeks now. And like, so Sandy ended up calling them, and basically they filed the stuff. It wasn't an attorney's office. Some assistant, it's a help you file your paperwork. So now she has an attorney, and he said since it's been denied, he said he's confident in front of the judge would get her approval. So she worked so hard and paid so much into, her disability. 401k's gone. Like everything's, it's like, oh shit. So I've got to come up with a good business idea, or I have to find my spot. I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to be. I have so many things out there because I've done so many different things throughout my life. I have interviews with dispensaries. I have interviews with smoke shops. I have a part-time job. It's kind of a gig job. I mean, I'm actually an employee, considered a part-time contract employee. I had to do the interview process and all that, but their whole system is set up on an application for their employees where you go on and choose jobs. And the jobs are still out so far out that it's hard for me to be like, yes, I will take that job a month and a half from now. Like I don't want to commit because I don't want to cancel it if I can't do it. Right. Does that make sense? My craziness. Yeah. So the positions are so far out, but and I don't want them to be nervous, but I also, uh, yeah. And the ones that are they're close. The ones that are near me in location are farther out in time, and the ones that are available now are like 2 hours away, and I cannot justify driving 2 hours to work an 8-hour shift where I'm making maybe $15 an hour. Like, that's a lot of wear and tear on my car, time and effort and energy. I end up making like $10 an hour when you add in the driving time to get back and forth to work. They don't pay you for transportation. They pay you when you get to the store, to the job site. That's what you get. You literally take a selfie outside, and which is great. It's a great gig. I think it's great for people that want to have that side gig feeling but still have a job. So, and I'm excited to do it. I'm definitely excited to do it. I'm just nervous to commit to the individual jobs so far in advance. Because what happens, I commit to it, they go along thinking, okay, cool, it's handled. And at the last minute, I get a $17 an hour job driving for Amazon with $1,000 sign-on bonus. I'm sorry, guys, but if I can get almost a mortgage payment out of, you know what I mean? Like, tricky. Paper. It's less than a year. That was good though. Mm. She's frustrated by it, unfortunately. And she's not, it's funny. I'm always advocating cannabis and speaking on it and talking about the medicinal benefits, and I could barely get her to do CBD. Like when she was in chemo, she agreed because I showed her research that proved that it CBD oil, when added to your chemo regimen, gives your chemo an 80% increased chance of being successful. 80% is a pretty decent percentage. That's not like, who knows if it's going to help. I'm pretty sure it's going to help. I think that 20% of the people that didn't, it was too far gone, or you know what I mean? Who knows? But yes, it actually went when she was going through chemo and she started doing the drops of hemp oil, no THC, but just the hemp oil, just the CBD. And it was a really good, like, um, really clean sourced, it gone through like 4 different internationally recognized testing procedures, and I just trusted the company as very high quality, but it was also a little expensive at the time. I mean, it would be impossible now, but um, that definitely helped. It was a clean bonus CBD. Mm. I get the struggle though. This is part of my family room. I built this out of a couple of pieces of wall section that I had, put some wheels on the bottom of it so it's like a backdrop behind me. But my kid just moved into the family room right here. So that's why I'm not on very often anymore, because Sandy was up and about and she's in and out more often, which is, it's not her fault. But it distracts me when I'm streaming. So I need like peace and quiet. So I'm focused here and not like on everything else with my attention deficit stuff. Mm. Oh goodness. That's right. I was gonna talk about the what was it here? The regulations for Florida dispensaries. It cannot resemble any commercially made candy. So, in other words, you're not going to see uh, nerd ropes that are infused or any other commercial candy infused, right? That's against the rules right now. They have to be in geometric shapes, circles, squares. Like they can't be animal shapes or fruit shapes or character shaped or anything like that. It can't be shaped like pot leaves. The edibles can include baked goods, chocolates, drink powders, lozenges, jellies, gummies, gelatins, things like that. So, and also Marijuana Business Fact Book was the source for projecting that medical marijuana sales in Florida will hit between seven or this was in 2020, so the numbers have increased since then. This was in August of 2020. So they were predicting that for 2020, sales were between 775 million and 950 million just in Florida. That's just in Florida. $775 million for between 775 million and 950 million. That's almost $1 billion. And that was compared to about 475 to 575 million in 2019. So that was pretty crazy. I was going to say, I also wanted to cover, for the video's sake, that the live that I was doing, I want to talk about side effects. When you're talking about edibles, people can get a large dose, even not realizing it. You know, you come in and the brownies are so delicious, you eat the whole plate, not realizing they're medicated. First, realize no one's ever died from an overdose, okay? If you're that worried, you can make yourself sick to your stomach, but it's not going to kill you. But you have like an hour and a half to 2 hours to prepare. Now, if you do get too much medication, if you get too much cannabis going through your bloodstream all at the same time, you can feel like panicky and really anxious. It can give you like an agitated sort of fear kind of thing. In that moment, no one's died. No one's ever died. Train your brain to know that. That way, if that happens to you, you kick into, don't forget, no one's ever died. Don't be stupid. Don't forget. Don't forget. No one's ever died. No one's ever died. No one's ever died. Remember that. That helps that sort of paranoia, the panicky, anxious, that feeling that can happen. There are allegedly reports of psychotic episodes. That's when you're so far out of reality that you really aren't, you're not interacting with what's happening. And in those cases, they're more likely to just be like irrational repetition, maybe. Someone repeating the same paranoid or a fearful thing. I'm too high, aren't I? I'm too high, aren't I? I'm too high, aren't I? I'm too high. I took too much. I'm too high, aren't I? Like they'll get stuck in almost a cycle. That can happen. Being able to focus, they think they're talking normally, but they're really talking to you like this, right? They're so dopey that they don't realize they're coming off as dopey as they are, right? That can happen. Your breathing can slow down because it is a depressant. And so it's going to have a sort of slowing and settling effect physically on your body. And so, very high cannabis, a lot of THC and high doses of cannabis can make your breathing slow down. So that's another thing. Take big, clean, deep breaths because you're actually sort of processing the cannabinoids out of your system. Because by taking big, deep breaths, it actually activates your lymphatic system because you have this little squishy thing under your diaphragm that actually, when you breathe in, it's like it becomes like the pump for your endocrine, your lymph nodes, the system that your lymph nodes are all connected to, and that carries the toxins, helps remove the metabolized stuff away so that things can metabolize faster. It's just all part of the process. So if you feel like your chest is, if you're heavy and you feel tired and you've had a lot of indica and you're feeling like maybe your breath's a little slow, just think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Count to one and do 1,000, 2, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005, 1,006 in your head, and do that in cycles to breathe in 1,001. Right? And then wait for 6 seconds. So you do 6-second breathe in. They take 6 seconds to take a breath in, and then hold it gently for 6 seconds, and then take 6 seconds to blow it out, and then wait 6 seconds, and then take 6 seconds to bring it in. You can, if you're doing that, you're not going to die, I promise. And if you focus on that, it gives your mind something to do. It's oxygenating your blood, it's metabolizing the cannabis out of your system. Drink lots of water, take a nice warm shower. That helps because, and big deep breaths in the shower. So you're moving your lymphatic system, you're getting that stuff out. Your circulation is increasing because of the warm water in the shower. You feel refreshed. It'll help you feel better. Now there have been anecdotal reports of cardiac issues from really high doses of THC, and it's usually in people who are prone to cardiac issues, but be careful. So because you might not know you have cardiac issues, and you could have a combination of activities, including the use of cannabis. Cannabis alone, uh, yeah, is not typically the way we smoke, the way we use cannabis is not a problem. But with edibles or concentrates being available, someone ate like 1,000 milligrams of concentrate. Well, they could have other physical effects, including slowing down the heart, um, really, really slow, or having an very irregular heartbeat, um, complete just stop, but that's with really high amounts. So the onset and certainty of the onset and concentration of the potency, right? The potency is going to depend on how fast it hits you, or I mean, not how fast, but how hard, how much you feel, and a lot of the sensations, um, and can affect onset, because something stronger that you chew and absorb through your mouth, like a tincture sublingually, yeah, um, can hit you within 15. You can start feeling it in 15 minutes. And again, a reminder: edibles, edibles, edibles. um, if Yeah, set your alarm. If you don't think edibles affect you, feel how you feel, concentrate on how you feel before you do it. Do it, don't do anything else, and then set your alarm for 2 hours, and then reassess, genuinely, honestly, reassess how you feel after that. I could tell you, how long have we been I've been on for 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna try. Mwah, I love you, Tom. I'm gonna come back and just hang out, I think, on my thing. Oh, I missed it. Oh, well, I missed it. Never mind. It was my time streaming was 1 hour, 23 minutes, and it was coming up to 45 seconds, and I missed it. Rats. I like those numbers. It's crazy. I looked up when that was happening. That's happening to me all the time. Every number I see has significance and has meaning. That's weird. It's like the numbers are talking to me. Who needs voices in their head when they can have numbers that speak? Oh, goodness gracious. I should check my email and stuff. I should go. What time is it now? 6:22. I really can't do much business-wise this late. I was just going to do a quick edibles video, and it turned into a live chat with my buddy Tom. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging with me. I missed you. I miss you when I don't see you out here. Grow Healthy's sending me something special. There's something just for me. I bet you they send it to other people too. Oh, it's called Big White Ruby. Sparkles with springtime flavors. This is a new strain that they're releasing. It is a hybrid strain, and it's Big Pine Key crossed with White 99, crossed with Afghan Ruby. That's so brilliant. They've been taking strains and crossing them with they've been taking really good THC quality and cannabinoid quality strains, and then also crossing them with really good medicinal strains that have terpenes for like inflammation, anti-cancer, and they're coming up with these. This one is so it's Big Pine Key, White 99, and Afghan Ruby, and it's in a new springtime inspired signature blend series to help your creativity bloom. Balance hybrid Big White Ruby is loaded with beta-myrcene, limonene, farnesene, and transcarafilene. So your beta-myrcene is going to be the sort of hops, dill, mango sort of scent, like that hopsy, mango-y dill, or not parsley, like the green smell of mango. And then limonene is the lemon, right? That's like the oil in the lemon on the outside. Because then there's also linalool. There's a couple other valencine. There's a couple other ones that are citrusy as well. But this one's the one that's citrusy, like a lemon skin, not like a grapefruit or a mandarin orange or yeah. Farnesene and limonene is good for anxiety relief and focus and clarity. It helps you like bring your thoughts together and stuff. What else is in it? Farnesene is, oh my gosh, my brain. Hold on, I'm double checking. I'm just making sure what I'm thinking is right because I just had like farnesene is the one with. I gotta go through where I live and all that stuff. Am I picking up or delivering? Shop now. Just gonna give me the profile. Okay. Cartridges, signature blends, blue and white, Big White Ruby. Here we go. So I'm going to scroll down here and they give me the breakdowns of, that's why I love Grow Healthy. Their site's really easy to navigate. Under every product is a list of the terpenes and what they do. So you can get an idea of what the aromas are going to be like. Even if you don't know the strains, names of the strains that they're crossed with, you can find the aromas that, like if you like it to smell piney, you look for alpha pinene. Or pinene itself. Anyway, farnesene is the one that's like green apple. And these are beautiful. It has anti-inflammatory, so it reduces swelling and inflammation. It carries fluids away from where it's inflamed. Tumor inhibiting properties. So in other words, it's going to keep mutated cells from the explosive growth that they usually do. And that's when a tumor happens, when the mutated cells start reproducing really fast. It creates a tumor. So it has tumor inhibiting. So that's going to keep those cells from growing so quickly. That's what it means by tumor inhibiting. If it says anti-mutagenic, that means it keeps the cells from mutating to begin with. And so if you have a strain that has both of those in it, that's beautiful. Anyway, farnesene is also very calming. and it can stop spasms and seizures. So it's antispasmodic, which it can help with like epilepsy or tics. If you get the little eye jumps or muscle twitches or things like that. So that's a good one. This this new this new one I'd love to try has linalool, which is another one of my favorites. It's very calming. It's stress relieving. It's a very calming one without like too. It's not sedative. It's not like knock you out to sleep, but it's like, oh, okay, you know. And that one's like a rosewood, magnolia, honeysuckle kind of aroma. It's called linalool. I think it's a little citrusy to me. Like if it seems like it, like lilac and citrusy too. Anyway, the new one has transcarofilene, which is anti-inflammatory, pain relieving, fever reducing, and increasing your circulation. It has all the good stuff. They're creating some pretty amazing. If you look at it from like the medicinal qualities, what they're putting together and what these strains are coming out with, it's brilliant. Yeah, alpha humulene, it looks like one of the top. I guess you can't really check the actual test results until you have the product. Like because you have to put the batch number on the actual bottle to see what it is you have. That's how like they're tested in batches. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go. It's getting hot in here. I just realized I'm getting really hungry, so I'm starting to get that like clammy, sweaty, like need to eat, shaky feeling. That's the other thing about edibles before I go. If anyone's watching this later, you definitely, if you are sensitive and you are afraid of too strong of an effect, you want to eat something. Don't take edibles on an empty stomach, right? If you try edibles and they don't really work very well for you, don't try more, then try them on an empty stomach. And then if that doesn't work, then try a little bit more the next time. And once you've eaten edibles and waited 2 hours, if you eat more 2 hours into it, you're really not going to increase the way you feel as much. Maybe for a little bit of overlapping time, you'll feel more high or whatever, more pain relief, whatever it is you're looking for. But at that time, it's probably better just to inhale or use some tincture so that it's affecting you more strongly quickly. Otherwise, you're not going to really be able to tell because it's just going to overlap and keep going. So what's affecting you from before? What's affecting you from the new time? Just be careful. But you know what? Also remember, it's not going to kill you. Worst that's going to happen is you're going to feel kind of nauseous and like out of whack and out of balance and like sort of distant from what's happening. Physically, maybe clammy. You want to go lay down. Um, Almost like you want to put your foot, like the spins. If you get the alcohol spins, but it's not as nauseating and out of control. Like it's not as intense as that, at least in my experience. So enjoy edibles responsibly. Always take a smaller dose to start with, um, and adjust from there. And Tom, thank you for hanging out with me. I missed you, my friend. I hope you feel better. I'm glad you got your insurance rolling, and that's not a problem. That's definitely a relief. And if you hear of anybody looking for a great gardener, somebody who has a great like palette, I've designed menus. I'm hoping I'm kind of like, how do I get into commercial production of edibles in Florida? I'd really be interested. I'm exploring that right now. I do have experience in commercial kitchens as a chef. Like I not in a um, commercially mass produced setting, but I mean, we had a lot of people come through Cracker Barrel. I'm just saying the production amount is not uh, I'm not intimidated by any production amount with the right tools and equipment and support staff, but what I would really love is to be in product development and design. I'm really good with the kitchen science, like, I understand if something's not set quite right, or I can fix problems. Usually, if someone else is cooking something and they make a mistake and I come behind, if it's not something like, they put baking soda instead of salt or like, something like, "Whoa, that's really bad," um, I can often fix it. Uh, you know, I don't know, I can adjust taste, and I actually have designed menus, and that was great. We had a guy over in the Tampa area, actually, and he had a wing place. Um, I'm not supposed to say the name, but he started with this one place, and he wanted to have 31 different flavors. He was looking at Baskin Robbins as inspiration with the 31 different flavors of ice cream at the time, whatever. It was an advertising thing they had going on, and so he's like, "Oh, well, let's do that with wing sauces, and we'll make, 31 flavors of wing sauce." He goes, "Wouldn't it be cool if you could?" And I'm like, why couldn't you? Like, that's easy. I could make 50 flavors of wing sauce just with variations and, being creative." So we came up with a buffalo wings based. So in other words, you had the cayenne sauce and just basically straight cayenne pepper on the wings. It had like a little tiny bit of butter for flavor that was mixed in really good, but went from hot red sauce, hot, to uh, we had that. We had the honey, like, I used honey, I used garlic, I used, um, gosh, I can't even remember all the different variations. Now we had habanero to beef it up. So it's just a regular buffalo sauce we start, and then I had I could have done 30 flavors of just variations of buffalo, because you've got honey buffalo in every heat level, right? So you add honey, that whole you have your okay, so you have your regular buffalo sauces and your heat levels, and then you add honey, so then you have all your buffalo sauces at the heat levels with honey. Then you add garlic, and then you have honey garlic, hot, mild, blah 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 blah, and adds another one, and then you just garlic, so it's hot and garlic, it's not sweet, and then I mean, just playing around with a few flavors. So we did the basic, like, wings that you could get, the wing sauce with the cayenne based, and then hot peppers for the nuclears, and the uh, death release. What was it? A signed release sauce. We called it signed release. You didn't have to sign a release, but that was the top, nuclear, whatever. Um, and then you do the barbecues, and you've got variations. You've got your sweet honey barbecue, then you've got your, like, mustard style, that's a yellow sauce, sweet, and then you've got your white, which is like a mayonnaise based vinegar barbecue sauce. You just all these different flavors, and then you could add spice to each one, or you can make your more Tennessee sort of orange-based sauce that's a little bit more hot saucy than and barbecue. Like, all the different variations of flavor in just those, and then we did the soy-based ones, which were teriyaki, and did a ginger fire that had, like, a teriyaki with ginger and some sriracha chili. Like, we had sweet chili, sweet Thai chili, and, like, all these different sauces that I mixed recipes, proprietary recipes, and he went with it. Like, that's what they made and that's what they did. I don't get any credit for it, but it was a lot of fun. So be creative. Um, And enjoy your edibles. I'm going to sign off for now, you guys. I do appreciate the follows and likes and comments. I do watch comments. I'm not, not too many people are watching me yet to flood me and overwhelm me with more comments than I can answer. So if you'd like to ask a question, if you're watching this later and you want to ask a question, shoot me a message in the comments, or if you're on Instagram, do the JMO Jen Can Consult on Instagram. I do want to say, which I didn't mention before, and I should have, is that some people do have problems digesting oils. If you have had your gallbladder removed, or you have difficulty digesting oils, fats. And if you want more information about that, send me a private message and I will talk to you specifically. But there's stuff you don't want to say out loud, TMI stuff, but you're welcome to send me a message and I will keep it between us if you want. Ask questions. I'm just here to help. So if you have digestive issues, if you have anything that's uncomfortable or weird, or your cannabis is not working for you, if your edibles aren't working, if your topicals aren't making the pain go away, let me know. I will see if I have some tips and hints to help you out. And I'm going to be watching for some really killer recipes. Easy stuff like the fudge, bag of chocolate chips, a can of sweet condensed milk, and your distillate or RSO. You need a thick, viscous one. Don't use tincture in these. Okay. If you're going to use tincture, make yourself some brownies and do that. I got to go get my kitty. He's having a fur ball. Yuck. Oh, okay. Let me go get him before one of the dogs accidentally walk through it.